Hi everyone, myself is Muhammad from John McNason University. So today I'm going to present the pitch deck for my startup, which I named as the Charger Plus, whose focus would be to discover a new way to optimize the electric vehicle range by providing the electric vehicle charging station infrastructure throughout the city or whether a country, etc. So today our agenda would be that, like, first we will provide some overview, then what is the problem in the current charging station infrastructures and how we can provide the solutions, and what will be the scalability of our solution, and what is the competition we have to face. And finally, to build the setup, we need the network design and how the information will flow and how we will take the data in order to play with the data so that we can use some artificial intelligence algorithms like that, and how our cloud-based model will make the money and how we will do the transactions. As we know, the electric vehicle has reduced the carbon dioxide production to a large extent. From this map, we can see how the electric vehicle is being adapted by the country, ranging from 2010 to 2020, provided by the International Energy Agency. And we can see as we adapt more electric vehicles, it has a good opportunity that if we can provide something which can benefit the customers. Like all these companies, the brands which have been doing their full effort, providing their full effort to make the electric vehicles into motion, whether it's a Tesla or the Kia or the Hyundai or any one of them. That means we need to deal with this kind of rising trend. But we are facing a problem, that is that EV drivers often fail to find the proper spot for the charging. That means they don't have the charging station at their ease. If we see the case of the Korea, there we can see there are certain charging stations here, like these are the charging stations like Tesla supercharger. They are providing the charging station infrastructure throughout the country, but we can see the number of the charging stations are very few. But the rising trend of the EVs, it will not be enough for the EVs. So this is one of the problems. That means the EVs will face the low battery level, which will decrease the market of the EVs. The other problems is that spatio-temporally unbalanced charging demands, that is, which will create the overloading at the distribution level. We can see this is the common load pattern of a city or a particular area. But if we adapt the EV, it's the average EV demand, that it will increase up to 16% or something like that. But if it is the maximum EV demand, that means most of the vehicles, that means like about the 25% is the penetration of the electric vehicles, so it will increase the peak load by the 30%, which is a big problem which will be faced by the power grids. And the third thing is that we need to integrate all the EVs to the grid, and further we need to face the many issues like data protection and the charging incentives, and charging technology and the standards, market design and the regulations, and power system operations and infrastructure planning. So these things we need to consider if we need to build the most high-tech EV infrastructure. So we are going to provide the solution. Our vision will be that we will start a startup which will pave the way for the electric vehicle customers to smartly use their EVs, like increased range, source to destination pathways. We will provide them the charging stations at their ease on their ways. And further is that we will optimize the energy. And further, our Charger Plus network will control the Charger Plus EV charging stations and its charging data. Further, those registered customers will also be observed by our network. Like for example, in case of India, if it's a big country, we have to locate our charger stations in such a way so that we can easily collect the data from them and we can easily operate and manage them. And coming to the scalability, we need to quantify the influence of the future potential charging competition. That means we need to provide the charging services at the doors of our customers or on their ways. For example, whether it's a residential parking lot or the shopping parking lot or the hospital parking lot or any on the roads. And coming to the market competition, if we need to build the EV charging station infrastructure, so we need to take care about the cost as well, because it's not gonna be like a simple just charging a mobile phone. It's charging a big EV which has the battery capacity ranging from the 40 kilowatt hour to 100 kilowatt hour or 90 kilowatt hour. And depending on the size of the battery, the EVs will give us the proper range respectively. In Economic Times, which was published in this newspaper news, that it would cost about $1,200 US or up to $64,000 US approximately in order to install an EV charging point. That means the amount is not small, it's a big amount. It's for just one charging station. Charging stations can have many charging piles, means many charging spots for many EVs, but the amount is still a big. But it can be affordable. It is affordable for the if someone has proper investor. And further, the Indian government, for example, in India, they have concluded that there is no need to license to build a charging station infrastructure, provided you follow the standards of the Ministry of Power. And we need to focus how we can set up our charging station infrastructure and how much cost it will take. For example, the first factor is the infrastructure. It will, as I told you, that it will take up to $12,000 up to $15,000 for a simple charging station, or it can go up to the $64,000. But depending on the which level of charging you are providing. For example, the equipment will be different. The level 1 charger, the level 2 charger, and the level 3 charger. In the level 1 charger, it will be like around $600. That will be enough to build. That can provide the charging services or only at the homes. But if it is level 2, it can provide at a simple parking lot. And if it is level 3, the amount will be raised, but the duration of charging will be less, if we can see. third thing is the soft costs, which are just simple the built-up costs, which are like painting or signage or parking blocks, making the signs and something like that. It is not too much. It can be accommodated in the funds which are being provided. And the fourth factor is the software management. We need to take care about our software management team, which can take care about the power management things and the network and the services which are provided by the Charge Plus company, and taking care about the needs of the customers especially. So the network design goes like this, that the Charge Plus is actually the cloud-based platform which receives the data in the real time with the charging station locations, the pricing of the power of electricity, and availability of the charging station. It continuously takes the information from the end systems. Like for example, in this map we have the different charging stations which can serve as the edge computers, and we have the EVs charging stations which are continuously communicating if there is a need to charge, and the old or information is processed at the the information is processed at the charging station, and it is transferred to the cloud. And to design a network, we need to think where we are going to make the charging station, which kind of charging station infrastructure, which kind of things we need to take care. If it is at the home, if it is at the charging station, which is a roadside charging station, it can have a small wind turbine system, it can have a PV system, which can reduce the electricity prices, and it can have a battery storage system, which can further help to reduce the electricity prices by storing the energy and later on providing the energy to the electric vehicles. Or when it is the off time, then we can send the electricity back to the grid, or we can sell the electricity back to the grid by making money. Similarly, we have the home charging based charging system. So we can have the simple PV panels, but the charging information will be collected in the similar way by our Charge Plus cloud. And what kind of information and how the information will flow throughout our network, and how we'll collect the data. So we have some entities like the ITS, we have the Charge Plus cloud, we have the power grid, and we have the different charging stations distributed around a city. This is, for example, a city, and we have the different charging stations around the city, and we can have the information flow like this. And this brown line shows the electricity flow, which can go into the power grid and which can come from the power grid, because it's the charging in this charging case as well considered. And this shows the information flow, like when the EV wants to charge, he sends the charging request to the servers, and the servers take the information to the cloud, and the cloud processes the information and then finally provides a proper charging station, or recommends a proper charging station to the EVs. Like for example, it goes like this, that if EV wants to charge or want to discharge, that means it has a full battery or it has very little battery. If little battery, that means the little charging, that means it needs charging, or if it's the battery is full, or that means it wants to discharging. So it will send in find the nearest charger plus charging station, and it will exchange the information like the source destination pathway, the current SOC, current time, the battery capacity, etc. and there can be many other factors, parameters, and finally it will find the charging station and find if there is a charging slot available there or not. The charger plus edge, which is itself the charging station, will send information to the charger cloud, and here at the charger cloud we have some artificial intelligence based recommendation systems working, that is like the reinforcement learning or the federated learning, which can do some calculations and find the charging stations and calculate the power consumptions and calculate the shortest path to the destinations. And further, after that we'll receive the notification from them, and we'll arrive to that charging station. We can charge or discharge our battery, and finally, if it is in case of the charging, that means we'll have to pay to the charging station, or if it's the case of the discharging, that means we'll get something from the charging station, that means we'll be paid. That means it is a kind of a business which is benefits both the customers as well as the aggregator, that means the provider, service provider. The cloud-based model further have some specifications that it will provide the energy services. That means the energy services are to our partner locations, that is the charger plus network, the charger plus charging stations, and the EV drivers get benefited by this. And this charging sources will be provided by the third parties, like in case of the South Korea it's the KEPCO. And we have some renewables installed at the charging stations, that are the solar panels, etc. And further we'll monitor the energy and the demand usage continuously and controllable output to support the utility demand response requests. And we need to manage the network. We will take some fees for that management and the processing fees as well. And to own and operate and maintain the charge plus network, that means how we can manage. That means there can be communication mode which can be based on the Wi-Fi or the cellular network, and all data what we collect from each charging station or the EV user, it will be completely confidential and will be managed timely. And the smartphone apps which we can provide, and which shows the status of any kind of change or sends a notification timely. And further, is secure and is highly available. In case of the transactions, we can provide some of the web-based portal systems or the API-based interface, which is very easy, like just one click, convenient and user-friendly. And it displays charging station status, which charging station status you have to go, and how much time it will take you to reach there, and how much time it will take you to charge your car, and other transaction details. And the future-proof design shows that how much energy has been changed and how much cost it will take. And the payment methods can be the Samsung Pay. We have a lot of payment methods, the Apple Pay, Google Wallet, or something like the other credit cards. Okay, there is one more thing, that's the blockchains that can have a role to play in this whole system. That means we can upgrade our system to the blockchain based transactions, which is more secure than the conventional transactions.